Morning, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday here at CME Traveling's Daily Coffee Talk. I'm Marsha.
I'm Curt.
Thank
you
goodness.
so much for being with us today.
I wonder if you remember.
You thought I had a little. Well, I was trying to make sure this one down here was
Okay.
going and make sure we were live.
So we have a special guest today. I'm very excited because I want to win lots of money. Not even so much the money, but I want to win a free room, free drinks all around. I want to win all kinds of stuff when I go to our next cruise. And I'm excited to talk to this gentleman about it.
You'll have to put the question back in.
Oh, Curt.
Yeah,
and Curt messed up the question.
But yes, I'm going to go ahead and bring him up if that's okay. You're going to have to let me click and everything because we got a lot to get to and to say some hellos. I hope everyone's doing very well today. I thank every one of y'all for coming in, and I invite y'all to ask something that you may want to know. I mean, if he knows, he'll try to help us out. And let me get to this. And where am I at here? All right, I'm going to bring him up. All right, Chris, here he comes. Thank you so much for being with us.
Morning, Chris.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on. I really, really appreciate it. I'm flabbergasted, but it's crazy how all of this stuff has happened. I'm still in shock that the channel's doing as well as it is. So I really do appreciate it.
Well, right off the bat, man, I mean, I found you, like I said, right about June. June is when I was looking up a few things. And you had mentioned something in one of your videos, and I got to talking with Marsha, and then I found another video. And I was like, and I looked at your channel then. I was like, okay. So, and I was like, man, he just started this, and I could see how fast it was growing.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then here a couple of weeks ago or so, and I was like, I'd like to have him see if he'll come on. I really thought I told Marsha, I said, this channel's going to go so big so fast that I don't know that we'll have time.
Don't forget the little people.
Yeah. That's I told everybody. Yeah, it's a great channel. But Chris, tell them a little bit. I mean, when you got started, and tell us past wise brought you to here and come up to this.
I'll try to make a real long story really short, but I've been gambling for well over 20 years. And in that time, most of it, I was just an idiot gambler. I just went in and threw my money away and left and, cussed at myself all the way home about what just happened. And then I kind of started learning the fact of, hey, wait a minute, these casinos will give me stuff for what I'm doing if I sign up for their players card and so on and so forth. Yeah. And where it all kind of came to a head was I was planning my first trip to Las Vegas. I'm a big Metallica fan, wanted to go see them in Las Vegas. And I'm talking with a coworker and I'm talking about, where should I stay? It's so expensive on the strip and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, you go to the Caesars Casino. You have a player's card. Have you went online and looked? You probably have free rooms somewhere. And I'm like, what? Why would I get a free room in Las Vegas if I'm gambling in North Carolina? That doesn't make any sense to me. So I started learning about how all of this works. And then I just took deep nosedive into, okay, here's a system. Is there a way to use this system to my advantage, to maximize my benefit from this? And I learned things like, I'm going to use some stuff. Some of y'all may know, some of you may not, but there was a thing called the status merry-go-round in Las Vegas, where you have status with Caesars, you match that status to a hotel, you match that status to another hotel, you match that status back to MGM, and it just went in this merry-go-round, so you never lost your status. So I got diamond status with Caesars through a credit card, did the merry-go-round, ended up with gold status with MGM. So back in late 2022, I'd been to Vegas by that time several times, and it's just so expensive with all of your food and stuff. And I love Vegas, but I was like, I got to find something else, and I had taken trips to Biloxi, I had taken trips out to Tunica and all this stuff. So a friend of mine was like, you really need to investigate cruising. And I had never been on a cruise, had no interest in going on a cruise. I'm like, I like going somewhere where if I'm not happy, I can leave. And you can't do that when you're in the middle of the ocean, And she's like, just her and her husband were going, she's like, just look into it. So that's when I started investigating status matching with Carnival. and they have the Carnival Players Club, and they have a status match program. So I submitted my gold status, which I didn't get through gambling. I got through other means, but they didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
And they sent me back an offer for a free balcony room with like $250 of fun play, $200 onboard credit, drinks in the casino.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, I've never gotten an offer like that. Let's do this.
Yeah.
On the first cruise and had an absolute blast, and have been hooked ever since. Came home about 3 or 4 weeks later. I start getting offers in email every single day of, free balcony, free this, $1,000 of fun play.
Oh,
and
wow.
What? And then I start finding out you can use this offer for three different cruises. So I immediately went in and I booked one for last Labor Day and the following October, the first weekend of October. All 3 cruises I've taken, by the way, have been on one ship. I went on the Carnival.
Really? No, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I went again, and the last 2 times, I never even touched my own money when I gambled. I just used their money. I had very good luck and fortune, and that's what gambling's all about, is just luck's got to be on your side sometimes. But those 2 cruises have led to free suite offers, drinks everywhere on board the ship for me and a companion. And just looking at the value of how much a cruise would cost versus how much it costs me with these offers, and knowing how much I've gambled and lost, I actually finished in the positive with Carnival last year. Yeah. It's just, I'm blown away. I have a video talking about one of my offers of this is crazy as Carnival lost their mind, because I'm like, are y'all really paying attention to how much you're giving me versus how much I've given you,
Yeah.
And so then from there, I was telling friends and stuff like that about it. And they're like, you got to be losing a ton of money. That's the only way they would give you something like this. And I'm like, I'm really not, So I thought, what better way to kind of explain what's going on than to create a YouTube channel? And I had been paying attention to the cruise community for a long time. And I also pay attention to the gambling community for a long time. And on YouTube, you might find a video from a creator here or there that's a cruise channel that talks about gambling, but those 2 things really haven't merged together that I've seen. I'm sure there's some out there. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go this angle. And at first I was just going to use, and if you see some of my very early videos, I'm not on screen and I'm using an AI generated Australian accent voice. And it was just, I'm throwing the script in, I'm going to let it do it. And then I quickly figured out that takes a tremendous amount of editing, because you got to make sure it sounds right. And you got to put all of the graphics on the screen and all that. So finally I made the decision to go to, I'm just going to do a voiceover. But again, the editing process was taking me like 10, 12 hours. So then I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to put my phone up here and I'm just going to talk like I'm having a beer with a buddy. And that's what I do now.
Yeah.
And, since that's happened, the growth of the channel, I don't understand why anybody cares about anything I have to say. I'm kind of in that.
That's how we feel today. I'm like, wow, they tune in to see us again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the response has been overwhelmingly positive, and I'm very humbled by it. But I think that there's so much confusion and myth and misunderstanding about gambling, and it cost people money because they believe these things or they don't understand these things. And that's what the casino wants. A casino is trying to trick you out of as much money as humanly possible. And what I'm trying to do is teach people to make the casino think you're more valuable than you actually are. That's kind of my whole premise. Yeah. And that's what I've done and learned how to do over the years with this. And it flows very well from somewhere like Las Vegas into cruising. So
yeah, we're going to say some hellos. Thank you. By the way, that's you put it there perfectly right there. And excited that you got a cruise. You tell everyone you got a cruise in what, 2 days?
Yeah, we leave tomorrow for New Orleans, and we get on the ship on Thursday. And
Carnival
we're going to
Valor.
Carnival Valor. Yep,
Okay.
a conquest size ship. So I already know where everything is, even though I've never been on it.
Do you have any other bookings outside of this so far?
I have another booking in December on the Sunrise.
Yeah, out of Florida.
I think, out of Miami, and I'm starting to plan out next year. My professional life has went through some significant changes over the last 4 or 5 months, so dealing with that and trying to build a business and stuff has kind of put the cruise planning next year on the back burner. But looks like I'll probably be able to take about at least 3 or 4 cruises next year is what my target is. So
that'll be your channel right there. That'll make it. Yeah, no kidding. I'm going to say some hellos real quick as we run through here. If you'll help me along the way. The Adventure of Traveling, Mike.
Good morning.
Good morning. And John Gaylor, of course. Good morning to you. Let's see. Did I miss somebody?
DT Cruisers, good morning to you.
Paul Vines.
Top of the morning.
PSV Odyssey and Bone Tired Travelers. They live there in Mississippi. I think they go to the casino down there in Mississippi, down there below you. John Gaylor, I already said, but Paul Pasto.
Did you say good morning to Denise?
Get to Bone Tired Travelers.
Okay.
That's what I said, Mississippi. All right. Marsha's mom, Jackie Hudson. Good morning. Love you, hon. Controversial Cruising, Scott, Eddie Lugo Studios. It's a Cruise Life. Afternoon. They're over in England, by the way. It's Cruise Life is. Yeah, they tune in.
Hey, Sea Tripping with Kim and Scott. I don't know what that flight was, but I've never seen such large samples on a flight, and they looked delicious this weekend.
Did they get some big drinks on the flight?
There was a flight, but the drinks looked like they were that big. They look like some very nice.
Hey, here's someone that you might want to talk with. Man's got some luck. His name is Captain Billy J. Travels.
And you need to rub our elbows.
He thinks he's a real captain. And he does. He gets free cruises all the time, like on land to go, go at sea and stuff like that. That's how he got the MSC cruise. Scott McNeil, good morning to you. Kathy Niels, thank you very much. John Gaylor, he threw you out there.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. I thought I was going to get to you before you hit the 1K. And you hit the 1K on Saturday, didn't you?
Congratulations.
I did.
And
I hit
more people since then. I've seen.
Yeah. I hit 1K on Saturday morning, and I hit 4,000 watch hours. Due to it's not official with YouTube yet because of the lag, but I hit that Sunday evening, which again, just for reference, on July the 7th, I hit 100 subscribers.
Oh, wow.
And then it just exploded. I mean, I had 500 on July the 12th. And it was because of that one particular video where I talk about the offers that I've gotten from Carnival. I don't know why, but the YouTube algorithm got a hold of it and just pushed it into the stratosphere. And I was averaging at that time like 100 subscribers a day, and I'm like, "What is happening? This is crazy."
That is wonderful, and I saw it grow, and I kept telling her, I was like, "Okay,
he said he's going to be somebody. He's going to grow quickly."
Yeah, I told her, I said, "Look at this channel." I said, "It's great information," and you do talk about radio. Let me go through a few more, and then we'll get back to talking. PK Adventure Travels, Canadian Family Life, my mom, Norma E. Bone Tired says, let me see what they said right here. She's talking about Mississippi. Hey, we're in Mississippi.
Choctaw Casino, 15 minutes from here.
Okay.
So you have to go see Denise and then when you
Denise and Dwayne right there. Let's see.
Hey, Jen Cohen. Thanks for being here this morning.
Jen's in here right there,
us.
Jen. She says she got 4 short days until she goes to Alaska.
And I saw that Sea Tripping with Kim and Scott, they're actually going to be on the Valor in 6 days. Is that when you get off of the Valor?
I believe so. We get off the Valor on Monday on Labor Day. So we probably will obviously have we're getting off the ship as soon as possible because we're driving. But I'm sure they'll be in the area. So virtual. Hey. Will G, good morning. Let's see. Captain Billy says, right here, I'll throw this up here. He says, I love casino comps on cruises and my comps in Vegas. He goes out, he does big sweepstakes, by the way.
And wins them a
yeah.
lot.
TNT's to see. Yeah, right there it is. 6 days. Valor.
Nice.
Good friends right here. Ocean Traveling.
Listen, Cindy.
They're learning a little bit more about getting into the casino. They are. They're really learning. Here's a man that knows what he's talking about. He lives down there in Alabama, right here, DeFam Adventures.
And I'm pretty sure he
plays a lot of craps.
He's a dealer.
Yeah.
So he knows what he's doing.
Oh, nice.
Let's see what Billy says right here real quick. All of the 11 past cruises up on in my upcoming 5
have been free cruise vouchers.
Yeah.
I love it.
Let me see if I
have you ever used a free cruise voucher from a casino to go on a cruise?
I have not actually. I get offers quite a bit, but I get them from like Biloxi, and I have to go. And unfortunately, Biloxi is quite a long ways away from me. I'll be going through there Wednesday. Actually, we're going to drive through there. We're staying in a little place called Bay St. Louis, which is only about an hour outside of New Orleans. It's in Mississippi. And there's a casino out there that I've frequented, and I've got a free room and some food credit and fun play there. But I just have never been into being able to get to where I need to go from a kiosk or talking to a host or anything to be able to get those vouchers. Yeah. And yes, I am wearing an Alabama hat. Roll Tide.
Now, I didn't tell people where you live, though. There's a button here and they turn on you too. Here's a guy. Now I know this man loves Alabama. Scott Smith.
Thanks for being here this morning.
Yeah, he's another one I was mentioning to you yesterday. I was like, hey, you might want to check out that Helen's his backyard, by the way.
Oh, okay.
So your backyard, what I'm saying. That's just a rock throw over the mountain for you.
You have to meet up with the Helen group then.
Yeah, that's what I was telling him.
TNT's Adventures to See. Good morning.
And here's another Roll Tide guy right there.
There you go, Roll Tide.
These are great channels too, by the way. Check them out.
I definitely will.
Yeah.
So I am curious because I do not play well I can do really good on roulette, and I can actually get money out of it and walk away with money in my pocket, give it to Curt, and he'll spend it just like that. But the reason I always make fun of slots is because I'm terrible at it. The first time I've ever won in slots was when we went to the casino in Danville here not too long ago, and I thought I was amazing because I won $40. I was like, look at me. Well, and honestly, I only put $40 in there. So, and I was down to my last spin, hit the last one, and won $66 total.
Oh, wow.
So, like, oh my gosh, look at me. But tell me some secrets that I need to know if I'm looking to try to get some comps on a cruise ship.
Like the machines, stuff like that. Yeah.
So the first thing I'll say is gambling in a land-based casino and gambling on a cruise ship are a bit different. I approach them a bit different because on a land-based casino, my objective is go in, have fun, leave with some money. On a cruise ship, I'm going to go in, I'm going to have some fun, and I'm trying to get a comp out of it without going crazy. I don't want to end up spending $1 million for a $500,000 house. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, and that's a dangerous proposition when you're chasing comps. You have to be very careful to not overextend yourself. When it comes to slots, the key reason that I play slots on a cruise and I don't as much in a land-based casino is because the point calculations are very accurate. The machine is tracking that information. When you're playing on a table game anywhere, but especially on a cruise ship, you're just not getting an accurate rating. So your points are not going to be accurate. And in addition to that, you're not going to accumulate as many points because the game's slower.
Yeah,
and with a slot machine, you're just mash button, mash button, mash button. When it comes to strategies of how to play slots, the first thing is to really dig into learning volatility. Volatility is very, very important when it comes to slots. And unfortunately, about 99% of the slot machines you're going to find on a cruise ship are very high in volatility. They do that for a reason because it's more of a profit margin for them. It's the flashy, the bells, the whistles, and all that stuff. What you really want to look for is a machine that is as simple and basic as possible that doesn't have a bonus, or if it does have a bonus, it has one bonus, or it has some type of multiplier built into it, like double diamond, triple diamond, stuff like that. The problem on a cruise ship with those machines is you can find them, but they're very expensive. They have a very high denomination where it's probably going to cost you at least $5 a spin. So if you're going to approach a machine like that, you really need to have a budget of at least $500 to approach those machines. If you have a budget smaller than that, you are going to unfortunately have to play some higher volatility machines, but you want to pick something that has an opportunity for you to potentially win a big bonus, and it does not require you to do a max bet to win that bonus. And it should say on the screen or on the keypad of the credit pad if that's the case. Sometimes it doesn't. So first rule of thumb is read the rules of a machine and understand that the more opportunity you have to win, the higher in volatility that machine's going to be. Lower volatility machines you're going to spin. You're probably going to have quite a few dead spins, but when you do hit a line hit, you're going to get at least your bet back. And so you're going to have just these small, consistent wins over time. And you really don't have an opportunity to win some big, huge $10,000 bonus or something like that. But that helps you stretch that bankroll. And as long as you can stretch that bankroll, every penny that you're churning through the machine while you're gambling is creating points. And you're also creating time. And there's a formula that a lot of casinos use, which is time multiplied by average bet multiplied by the house edge. House edge doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. You're not going to experience it in your individual session. Average bet, obviously, you have 100% control over. Make sure you stay within your budget. Never really try to exceed 1% of whatever your total budget is on a single spin if you can. And then the first thing and the most important part of that formula is time. You got to dedicate some time into the casino. You don't want to overextend yourself. Never spend more than you're willing to or can afford to lose. But what you're trying to do is just stretch that bankroll out and make the casino think that you're more valuable than you actually are. And that's what I've done and practiced, and that's where these offers have come from. So
the low volatility machines are good to play when they're doing the hot seats and things like that as well, right?
Yeah, sure. And if you have free play or something like that, that's where I would personally go and use it. Or you can, there's different tactics with like using it on a roulette table, because you can bet on every single number and you get most of it back on a return, because one of those numbers is obviously going to come up. It just makes sure the table odds are what they're supposed to be. But if you want an opportunity to potentially win more out than what you have, that's where I personally go, or I'll go to video poker if the pay table is, where I want it to be. So
I had a question. There's a question in here, and it kind of goes in with what you just said. TNT's Adventures, I know what they meant right here. Said, I heard you get better comps for playing slots if you instead of playing tables, and you just explained that right there. Also, they asked in here,
they do a lot of slot.
They do a slot pool, so just because they go in there, you just explained it to me. And we did one on this on Glory. We did we were the ones that was over and used our card. Yeah, we didn't get no offers, because even though we put in over $1,000 and some and everybody participated, like you said, that's just that one time and probably an hour. They don't look at us as being that valuable to them.
No,
might be the
you
reason.
Gotta,
something, Tom.
Yeah, you've got to make sure the casino looks at you and says, this is someone who we feel like is a good investment to provide them with an enticement to come back and gamble with us, because they have shown us enough data that we feel like they're valuable.
Yeah.
And if you go into a casino, and this is a common complaint, if you were to go into a casino with $1,000 and you walk up to the roulette table and you put it all on red, and whether you win or lose, you turn around and you walk out, you mean nothing to the casino, because you have not provided them with any evidence that you are going to routinely do that, you're going to be consistent with it, or anything. if you go in with $1,000 and you strategically play in the casino, even if it's table games, you strategically play that and you present yourself as someone who's going to be consistent, and you will become valuable enough to them with providing them with enough data that they should evaluate you and go, this person is someone we would like to come back, because they're going to gamble somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
We want to make sure it's with us.
Right.
It's not about how much you win or lose. That is such a misnomer. It's about how you gamble the money that you gamble while you're in the casino. It's how you're doing.
That's not true, because I normally lose on the slots. I could and it just give them to them. Curtis, we went down to gamble in Danville, and I think I put $50 in or something like that. No. I pushed one button. 40. And then I lost it all.
Oh, not that time. You're talking about a different time. That was on a cruise.
No, it wasn't. It was down here in Danville.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, I didn't even get to play. My money's
gone.
Well,
she also, that's one of those things we didn't understand how you pick.
We didn't read good.
The nomination, and then, you know, if you hit max bet, well, oh gosh, that times that and took it off. We really did not understand. Captain Billy says he likes to take advantage. I like advantage play
on slots.
Yes. Yeah. So hard to explain in a short period of time, but there are slots out there that do have advantage plays where they have must hit buys, or there's some type of build up with 10 spins. It marks a symbol, and then after that 10th spin, all of those places turn wild or whatever. Yeah. And then there's some that count up certain spins. There's a bunch of different options. Again, that's a very long conversation of how to identify those things, but those things you can take advantage of. That's why they're called, advantage slots. So
a question that, I told you one time it caught my eye was, and I don't know how much folks may know about this. I didn't, but you were talking about how you can verify, when you make that cruise deal,
yes.
You go to what website and you can check to make sure you're going to get what you're owed.
Yes. So Carnival's a little weird about this, and I don't understand why, but if you book a casino offer, when you go to your booking details on the Carnival website after you've booked that cruise, there is nothing in there whatsoever that says anything about what rate code you used, what you're supposed to get, or anything. The old way, I would say, was and I would still recommend you do this, but there is a website called the Oceans Players Club. You go to that website. I have a video on the channel that walks through this whole process. You go on that website and you put in your information and you send it off to them, and they will send you back a verification email that you can print out and take with you on the ship to make sure if something's wrong, if something's missing, you have physical evidence that you were supposed to get this. What has since happened that I didn't realize, and I don't know how long this has been the case, but someone pointed out to me in that video in the comments that actually shows up on your email verification for your booking. So when you get it, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, it has, all the way down to the bottom in the fine print, it has all your booking details, and it has all of that information listed on it. So I would also encourage you to print that out. The big thing is print it out and take it with you. That way, if something's wrong and something's not there, you can go to, guest services or the casino host on board and say, hey, I was supposed to have X amount of dollars in fun play, and it's not showing up, but here's the physical verification that I was supposed to have that. Otherwise, you're probably not really going to be able to, you're just not going to be able to get it.
Yeah. So
it's Cruise Life.
It's a Cruise Life. I feel the same way. That explains why our $100 budget didn't get us very far.
Life of Lucinda and Glenn.
I have been watching, though. I've been trying to learn a little bit, because I basically go and see which one looks the prettiest for me and would sit down and play, and that's the wrong thing to do. And I love the little devil guy. I thought he was really cool. And I go search the entire thing for that thing, and then found out that it's probably one of the worst ones for volatility to play, because it's a high volatility game.
I wanted to play the pig, the wolf and the pig.
I like them too.
Was that the ones
Huff and Puff?
Huff and Puff's one.
Huff and Puff. super high in volatility. Huff and Puff is super high in volatility.
I liked it though.
So, getting back to what TNT we're talking about, doing a slot pool.
They say they do
Two or three of them.
I
I know they put over well, as a group, it'll put over 1,000. But like you said, it just comes down to the numbers and how they.
What's the average bet, and how long is it taking you to do the slot pool? And what is your other gambling that you're doing on the cruise? Because if you have, I mean, they can see all of this when they evaluate your play. If your average bet is, $1, and you've gambled $100, then all of a sudden you have this gigantic spike, and then it comes back down and it's $100. That spike is an anomaly. That's not what you're normally going to be doing. So the casino is going to look at you and say, yeah, they technically gambled that amount of money, but they really didn't. They had a slot pool or something like that. And that's why there's this huge spike. So you as an individual, they're just not going to look at you as a totality and say, well, this is a X amount of dollar per hour player. That's their theoretical that they figure off that formula. They're going to look at you and say, this is what's normal. This is what's not. And that's maybe why you're.
He looks at stats.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I do everything I can to keep Curt off the stats when it comes to
good morning there, magnificent Germany with Darian.
And good morning, Glenn and Lucia. Thanks for being here this morning.
Captain Billy says, I search out for maxed out majors. This is what I was just trying to teach Marsha. Of 1,000 on Dragon Link slots and stuff. Yeah.
So I watched somebody playing the other day, and they're like, okay, so you up to $1,000 once it has to win before it gets to $1,000.
There's different kinds of machines in that. That's
And what I also noticed though is that the number, like you could be putting $5 bets in there, which is the max bet, but it's only going to go 1 cent at a time. And I thought I will never get to that max bet.
I'll speaking of that, I'm going to tell you just a very quick story of something I watched this morning. There was a machine in Las Vegas. It was a new Buffalo power play machine, and it had like 400 free spins build up on one of the bonuses. So these people start playing it because that's a lot of free spins. 29 hours later, they had a crew playing this machine. It had gotten up to 800 free spins. They had invested $7,000 into this machine. When that finally triggered and went off, their total winnings, because they accumulated free games as the free games was going on, they had 1,100 free games. They profited $200.
Oh yeah, that hurts. That hurts my feelings.
So that's something you got to understand about. You start seeing that stuff, and it's like, well, it's got to hit. It's got to hit. It's got to hit. If it's a must hit by Progressive, then yeah, it has to hit. And on the majors, it's good to look for those machines that have maxed out majors because you have a better opportunity there. But just because it's maxed out doesn't necessarily mean it's going to hit.
Don't chase it.
Right.
Don't chase it. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm sorry for if I'm stepping on anybody's toes here. It's been 30 minutes, but I told him I was going to go over today. I planned to. Thank you, Billy. I'll try to do that. But all right. So what is some of you? Okay. Number one, first off, I want to say everything you're telling. You told me, you go and look, you go to their websites, you go directly to them and find out that this is factual. It's not like you're just, I'm pulling it out of the air to tell you this.
Yeah.
But what is advice that you will give those or those that go, well, I want to go in there and see if I can get some kind of offers. And then I like that advice you told me about. A lot of people will gamble so much just to get that free stake. You can go buy the free stake. So explain that one too. Also,
in less buying it than you do.
You were telling that, but
in my opinion, while you're on your cruise, comps that you can get from the casino just aren't worth chasing. Yeah. You've got to generate so many points. I think the number, or at least it used to be, they've recently changed it, it seems, but the number was like you had to get like 4,000 points in order to become qualified for a steak dinner. Well, that at the time was $10,000 worth of coin in. and you're
Ouch.
getting two $40 or $50 steak dinners out of the deal. The drinks in the casino is a good thing to possibly chase. They've recently changed how you can acquire that, where you have to kind of go talk to the casino host and say, how many points am I going to have to generate in order to be able to get that? Used to, it was a set number depending on the length of the cruise. But as far as advice goes, when it comes to chasing comps with your onboard comps, for me personally, I just don't find it worthwhile. Now, if you're a whale, meaning you're a high roller and you enjoy the fact that I'm going to gamble all this money anyway, and I can get free excursions out of it, or I can get steakhouse dinners and stuff like that, you do you. I am not a high roller, and I don't really encourage anyone to be a high roller. What my ultimate advice would be for anybody that is currently gambling on a cruise or anywhere, or, wanting to learn about it, is the first thing you need to do is look at it as an entertainment expense.
Yeah, we do.
It is just like the money you would spend on an excursion. It's just like money you would spend on a specialty dining. It is an entertainment expense. And you've got to be willing to take and look at that money and go, I'm going to set this on fire. It is going to go away. I'm trading it for an experience. The awesome thing about going to a casino, though, is you could do that and walk out with more than you walked in with.
Right.
And you don't really have that opportunity with, if you go kiss a dolphin, which if that's what you want to do, that's fine.
Yeah.
The dolphin's not going to hand you $100 because you kissed them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Right.
the second thing is, yeah, exactly. The second thing is make sure you have a budget, and that budget is, this is money that I'm willing and can afford to lose. And then when you go to the casino, the only money you need to take with you is what you are willing and afford to lose. And you need to create as much separation from yourself and the rest of that money as possible, because casinos are very good at manipulating your psychology. They have more data on human psychology than any other industry in the world. They study this stuff. They actually sell this information to like social media apps and stuff to figure out how to get people addicted to certain things. So separate yourself. And if you feel like you have a problem, get up, go walk away, take a break, get out of there, detach that hold it has on your brain, because it will happen. It happens to me.
You
just a few weeks ago.
One of your recent videos was that way. You explained it. You said, it almost got to, and that's a great video to watch too, by the way. I got to make Marsha watch that one.
So Don Gaylor said, he doesn't gamble. He donates to the kitty for other people. And that's how I feel. My mom is lucky. She pretty much can touch the machine and make magic happen. I mean, if there's a raffle, she's going to win it. I need to bring her on a cruise with me. So
no kidding.
And I can win, but I did not get that gene. That passed right over me. And but I'm trying to learn a little bit more. I was really good at doing the tables. I did really well at roulette, and I could play for a long time. I know this is going to sound crazy, but I hate winning first off the bat like that, because then I feel like you're chasing it the rest of the time. And something I really enjoy, and Curt will tell you, I will talk to people on a gambling table that if I saw them walking through the hallway, I wouldn't speak to them unless they spoke to me. And you start watching them and getting involved and talking, and it's a great experience. And so I'm like, I don't want to leave. I know I've got my money, but I don't want to leave yet. I'm really enjoying having this conversation and watching these people throw all this money on these numbers. And I guess because I work on a computer all day, every day, Monday through Friday, I really don't enjoy the slots as much, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try.
Well, do this. Just take a portion of your bankroll and dedicate it to slot play and play the rest on tables. And there are things that you can do on table games that will help benefit you. When I'm playing blackjack anywhere, because how you get rated is the floor, the pit boss is walking around to each table. They're looking at what your initial buy-in was, and then they're going to walk up periodically, and whatever bet you have on the table is what they're going to consider to be your average bet. That's what they're going to put you in for. So if you see that coming, you can kind of manipulate it by maybe putting a little bit more out there than you normally would. You might get a little bit higher rating. What I always do is I'll look at the pit boss and go, hey, just so you know, before you put my number in, I've been betting $1 million a hand. Make a joke. Make a joke with them, and that kind of opens them up a little bit. The other thing is, if you're winning and you're in a position to do it, make sure you're tipping your dealers. On Carnival, they all have a little bell on the table, and every time you tip, they ring that bell.
Okay.
I played blackjack on my first cruise, and I maybe gambled a total of $100 in the whole session, but the rating that they gave me was way higher than it should have been with me betting. I think it was $5 a hand or something like that.
Yeah.
So if you enjoy tables, play table games. I mean, you're right. The community aspect of playing table games is awesome. It's fun. You get to know people, where they're from. A cruise ship's a lot like Las Vegas, and there's people from everywhere that are there with you. And so play what you enjoy playing. Just understand that if you want an accurate rating, slots is where it's going to come from.
Yeah. I actually met a pro ball player.
Yeah, baseball player. That's right. She did.
Really?
And him and I was very lucky for everyone else at the table. I could call the number as long as I wasn't
you
playing.
Are like them all.
But I just didn't come back to me. I'm scared to play the table like that. I have my own little system that I feel comfortable with. But I could be like, it's going to hit 32, and then everybody go to 32, put numbers on it, and it would hit.
It's consistent, yeah.
So I mean, that was great for everyone else at the time.
I ain't kidding.
Share with me.
His wife come over and started talking, and anyway, but he was like, "No, I can't leave. She's telling me what to bet."
Yeah,
he didn't want to leave.
Hey, it's just like a hot roller at the craps table.
Yep.
You become everybody's best friend. Yep. And it gets the excitement up at the craps table. Everybody's having a blast. Same with blackjack. If that dealer busts and everybody at the table wins, the downside of that, especially with blackjack, and this is something I'll throw out there to anybody that gambles on a cruise ship, especially with table games, is please understand that most people that are gambling at a table game have probably never done it before. This is their first gambling experience, and they're already intimidated by a game that they probably don't really understand. So be easy on them. And if they ask for help, give it to them, but don't be that person that somebody hits on 16 when they shouldn't have. And you're like, because here's the deal. A blackjack table on a cruise is probably the worst odds of blackjack you could ever play. It's 6-5. It's an automatic shuffler. You're not working out of a shoe. Just chill, relax, have fun, encourage people, help them if they ask you. But realize in just about any table game, this is probably the first experience, or at least they're newer to these games and they're going to make mistakes.
Yeah. And that's what Captain Billy J said. It's a lot of newbies on table games. But I can tell you, I've helped out several people. Like I said, I'm really good for everyone else. This is because they would watch me and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, this is my strategy, and it has a better odds. You don't win as much, but it has better odds of getting something back each time, so that I can play longer." And I would see people that were throwing money after money on the numbers start doing what I was doing. So I was like, "I'm helping," even though I wasn't winning anything from it. But,
I want to make sure I say follow the Bradleys.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for coming in. You can catch them. Check out their channel. By the way, your question today: casino play. Why do you play in the casino? Oh, you're asking people why.
What do you do?
So do you play for comps? 22%. I'm going to shut this down. What is that one? The second
play for the money.
Oh, play for the money. You play for the fun of it. 29% said that. 36% said they do not gamble.
I'm like John. I don't really gamble. I donate to someone else's.
Thank you.
But I'm very excited about going on this cruise because it's have you ever been on a cruise where what's the guy's Christopher?
I'm telling you, he's Brian Christopher, and it's a part of the casino deal we took. And we don't know what
should be a ton of fun. That should be a ton of fun because it's going to be built around the whole casino atmosphere and stuff. So y'all should have an absolute blast.
And we see cruising for comps, group cruise.
We'll be there.
Yeah. So, real quick, Chris, I'm going to give you the floor, man, and shut us out. Anything else you want to talk about? Anything else? And tell us what's coming ahead. I do know you're dropping a video next week.
Yes.
Is it? You tell them what day. I know it's next week, though.
So my normal release schedule has been on Fridays, and I'm actually going to move that to Wednesdays. It's just going to be better for me from a personal perspective. I just started a business with my brother, and we're trying to do all of that, and then all this YouTube things going on, and I did not anticipate the growth that it's had, so I thought I could just do it whenever. But I want to kind of ride this wave for as long as it'll let me. So release day will be Wednesday. New video coming out next Wednesday. I'm hoping that I can get some footage, and I will do this, get some footage of the casino, walking through when it's closed and sitting down at certain machines that I recommend people play, and why that's the case. So if that video doesn't hit next Wednesday, it'll be coming out soon. But I will have a video every Wednesday, including next Wednesday coming out. As far as the channel's future, it's going to primarily be about gambling content, but I also do want to include some cruising content. As a new cruiser, I think I provide a unique perspective on that, because I still have questions and maybe I can't find the answer to them. And when I do, I'm going to try to share that. But the cruising community is such an awesome community. And to be even a little bit, a part of it has been amazing so far. And everybody has treated me so well. Curt Marsha, to reach out to me and ask me to do this is just awesome. And Curt and I had a very long conversation yesterday, but it felt like drinking a beer with a buddy. And this is the first time I'd ever talked to the guy. So it's very cool. And I really do appreciate it. Just, go check out the channel if you would. I really would thank you. My ultimate goal with the channel is I just want people to be able to maximize their benefit while they're having some fun, if they choose to do so. If you do not want to gamble, don't go gamble. That's totally cool. I would never encourage someone to gamble that doesn't want to gamble,
Right. Law Jones, thank you for coming in. Appreciate you very much. But I thank you very much, Chris. And I know, and hopefully, hey, I know you've been in on the show. Let us know how it goes. Let us know. I didn't get to ask you one or two questions. I wanted to ask you, what's the best you've done on the cruise so far? And your recommendation on, is there any one thing to do? I mean, is it craps? What is it you go to play? What's your go-to?
So my go-to is I try to seek out the lowest volatility machine I can find. And I try to seek out about 5 of the lowest volatility machines I can find. And I just kind of rotate through those. As far as my luck, I finished in the positive last year. The last 2 cruises I went on, they gave me $100 or $1,000 of fun play on each one, and I never touched my own money. I've had 3 hand pays in my entire life of gambling. Granted, I don't shoot for hand pays. I'm not trying to win a jackpot, because that's when the IRS gets involved, and they just need to stay out of my business, if you know what I'm saying. But 2 of those hand pays were last year on a cruise. Really? The first one was playing video poker at my local casino about 7 years ago. I hit a royal flush, but the last 2 I've had is on the last cruise, or the last 2 cruises, 1 on each cruise. So, it's been awesome. My recommendation above anything else, if you're going to go gamble, again, is do it responsibly. Be careful with it. Gambling can be very addictive. And if you feel like you're having a problem, seriously, seek out help. There's plenty of resources out there. I've been there. I really have. I've chased and chased and chased, and then sit back and looked at all of the ATM withdrawals that I've made, and what was I thinking? Yeah. And the fact is I wasn't thinking. I got overtaken by things. So just be careful if you choose to do it.
Well, thank you very much, Chris. And guys, I thank y'all for being with you. I'm going to take you down, Chris. Chris, hang around right there. I'll talk to you in a minute. Thank you again for being with us. I thank the community for the questions. And like I've told you, and you've seen it, you told me yourself, you said, man, this community is just awesome. It
Yeah,
really,
Absolutely.
is. It really is.
You'll continue to see me in the chat on the regular. Now I won't be in the chat later on in the week because I'm being
I know.
cruise, but you know.
I told him about AMA and everything. He likes like get past it.
Yeah,
You know?
you're already in there.
Yeah.
You're already in like we're in FOMO mode.
All right, Chris. Thank you for being here. We'll talk at you later, bud.
Absolutely.
But thank y'all so much.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Almost an hour, guys. You know,
Almost.
it never happens for us. It never happens that we get an hour. We very rarely do it. So thanks for hanging out with us that long. We do appreciate it. Oh my gosh, I just can't wait to just, squeeze all the information out of him I can get before we go on our October cruise, because I'm going to win something. I don't care if it's $5. I want to win it this time. I want to push that button and see something magical happen other than all my money disappear. But thanks for being here. We will see you tomorrow, Wednesday, hump day.
Hump day, yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I'm just going to go ahead and close it out. We'll see y'all tomorrow, 8 a.m. This is CME Traveling.
Daily Coffee Talk.
Bye, guys. Thank y'all so much.